Yeah.
Just tell us a bit about it.
Yeah. Hi, my name is Lauren. I'm the Systemic Change Program Director at Sisters of the Road. This is our logo, so glad you're able to find me. I first want to ask folks, do you know what ESDs are, Enhanced Services Districts? I kind of want to gather our crowd knowledge. That's fine. A lot of folks don't, and I think that does us a disservice considering they control a lot of public space in the city, including this park, most of downtown, and inner northwest. So Enhanced Services Districts is our local term for a business improvement district, which is a national and international term for public-private partnerships between local governments and private businesses. They form a district in which, at least in Portland, in which property managers have to pay a licensing fee to the city, which is then transferred to the managing nonprofit for the district, they're tasked with providing enhanced services within that district. So in Clean and Safe downtown, you'll notice more security. They have their own contract with a private security firm. As of 2021, it is now Garda World. So if you see people with a big Garda World badge, they are the private security hired for this area. Clean and Safe itself spans 213 blocks west of the river. So starting at Front Ave by the riverfront to Broadway. So Broadway and 9th. It actually goes up to 9th with some tapering on the north and south ends. That's the Clean and Safe district. Together with the two other Enhanced Services districts, it's 550 blocks of Portland is managed by a Enhanced Services district. So, see, I want to make sure I'm hitting all my points. Yeah, so some of the services that they provide are the enhanced security, cleaning, so you might see Clean Start. They have the Clean and Safe logo going around and picking up trash. They also do the holiday lighting program. They do enhanced marketing for businesses in the area. And yeah, along with other things that I'll bring up later. But, so you wonder, how is an ESD made? How can this nonprofit manage this district? How can businesses choose to create a district in the first place? So it is written in city code how you can create an ESD, and this is also based off of an Oregon ordinance. So in order to become an ESD, there needs to be a nonprofit manager that comes up and takes the place in putting forward the campaign for the Enhanced Services District, rallying the property managers to actually want to form one, and then going to city council and getting it put into the city code that this ESD exists. And so they do that by getting 33% of the property managers to agree, which to me doesn't seem like a majority, but apparently it's enough to create this district, this single district that accrues more than $6 million a year. So in these fees on property managers and owners. So there are very few exemptions. Nonprofits are not exempt. For example, we just purchased a building and we have to pay a couple $1,000s to this ESD that we, one, don't agree with, and that two, actually criminalizes our customers. The only organizations that are exempt to paying the fee towards these services that may not even serve them are religious organizations, parking lots, and these mass shelters. Those are the only organizations that are exempt. So downtown Clean and Safe, again, 213 blocks, generally from Front Ave to 9th, goes down to PSU, up towards the Pearl, and it wiggles around at the margins. It is managed by Portland Metro Chamber, which is the rebranded name of Portland Business Alliance. Does anyone here know about Portland Business Alliance? It is a nonprofit, but it's technically a 501. Isn't it a 501c6? So it is a lobbying nonprofit. It is the largest lobbying entity in Portland by multiple times. I think it's it lobbies 4 times more than the next largest lobbyist in the city. And they're lobbying on behalf of business interests. The Portland Business Alliance was formed by Oh gosh, there was another nonprofit. I forget the name of it. I'll review the history next time. And Portland's Chamber of Commerce. You know, most local governments have their form of Chamber of Commerce, which does advocate for business needs, provide business support. However, this morphed into a nonprofit, now manages an extremely influential and economic generating area of the city. And yeah, the largest lobbying group, and they're lobbying for these, the organizations they represent are also people that you see in other lobbying arms like People for Portland, and yeah, they create a lot of organizations for themselves. So, again, to reiterate, private security, they also fund, I believe, 4, or did they up it to 6 private, like, Portland police officers? The private security, is it 5? They can, yeah, okay. It's hard to keep up with these, actually, and I'll get to that point soon. So yeah, private security, extra police, holiday lighting, cleaning. They also have something called crow abatement, where it was actually a very disliked program in which they're using hawks to make crows move out of downtown because people don't like crows and crow poop in downtown. So this is one of the many things that the funding is going to. And they also just released something called the CHOW program, which is Community Health Outreach Workers, which sounds like a great idea. However, we already have Portland Street Response and other entities that are doing this work, and why can we not better fund and support those entities already instead of putting forth this project from an enhanced services district that doesn't necessarily know the actual needs of the people experiencing mental health crises in the area. So, why are we here? Why are we talking about it on this during this wonderful walking tour? It's because ESDs are really problematic, and there is an international, an international effort to get rid of them, right? Or at least make it so they are economically oh my gosh, sorry. They are not as advantageous for business owners that are extracting from the local area in order to meet their enhanced services needs. So unlike in other states, and like California and Colorado, there is no public voting on enhanced services districts in Portland. This is probably why you haven't heard of them. You're not voting on them. This is specifically the property managers in the area talking amongst themselves, voting amongst themselves to create this district. And they then, with their fees, they then give it to the city, who takes an administrative fee. So I wonder what advantage the city is getting out of this. And then that money is then transferred to Portland Metro Chamber, which has a really long history of abusing those funds and lack of transparency. So there's a huge lack of transparency in funding. Again, over $6 million a year. And this depends on the speculation of the property, how much property is owned at the time. So it can increase every year. I actually did not get the latest from 2023, the latest rates. And along with that lack of transparency in what they do with their money, they also have a history of using the community court system to fund the labor in their districts. So this is a hyper-policed, hyper-patrolled area of the city. From the research of Melissa Lewis, you can find her work on Reveal investigative reporting along with the Oregonian. She actually got fired from the Oregonian for releasing this news that people are 20 times more likely to be arrested in downtown Portland than most other areas of the city. And it's because this is hyper-patrolled. The security guards, if they can't de-escalate on their own, one, they have limited accountability for use of force, but they will also just call the police anyway. So does this actually decrease the use of police in de-escalating social situations in the city? No. And then when since COVID happened, the community courts have been closed, so we actually don't have any new data, but prior to 2020, people would get funneled into those courts, or risk getting a bench warrant, and get tasked with community service to perform the cleaning, etc. tasks in the enhanced services district. And so on top of that, there is actually, I believe it wasn't it like 2.3 to 3 million of it went directly to Portland Metro Chamber executives themselves. So it was essentially paying their salaries. Yeah, they're a nonprofit. You think they should be able to get their own funding, but so those are some of the those are the reasons that they're bad. And on top of this, so many community organizers reached out to the auditor and said, hey, this is really fishy. Like, we're not seeing any reports from the Enhanced Services Districts. Also, their board meetings are closed to the public. The public doesn't get to vote on it. There's a lot of control over public space. What's the deal? Like, there's no information on what's happening in these districts. So the auditor's office proceeded in doing a huge review of Clean and Safe specifically, but the Enhanced Services District system in general. And they noticed an abhorrent lack of oversight by the city on Enhanced Services Districts for the last, sorry, I have to count back the decades, almost 40 years. So think of the millions and millions and millions of dollars, all of the people criminalized in that period of time, because the city wasn't doing their job of actually looking beyond the annual review that the ESD gave them to see what was really happening in the city. And so finally an auditor did that. And it was great. It was an award-winning audit. And in August 2020, it was released. By September 2021, the city still chose to renew the contract for the Enhanced Services District for another 5 years, contingent on the fact that it will follow the audit response as proposed by the city auditor, which they did for like a year. But then the person who was contracted to hold the response process, which you're able to look at those materials online. They had public meetings, they had surveys, we have all the data as well, showed that people were not satisfied with the services. Local condo owners did not feel like they had had a voice as residential landowners in the area to effectively bring their thoughts and opinions to the Downtown Clean and Safe Council. Even local business owners who were on the Downtown Clean and Safe Council said that it was really disappointing and they want to abolish it, but then they also want to make their own new one. So maybe don't listen to them. But as of now, they have not done any more on this audit response as they had in August 2022. They have done literally nothing. It was that their proposition, their proposal to City Council for changing the city code to address this audit review process was due last week to the City Council, but a lot of the directors of all the ESDs, Lloyd, CEID, the Central East Side, as well as Clean and Safe, said that there was illegal lobbying done on the part of the organizers that were asking the auditor to do their fucking job and look at the Enhanced Services District. So they boycotted the audit response. And we have not moved from there. That was back in February. I've reached out to the auditor since then twice, and I have not gotten a response from my latest, so I don't know where it's at. I don't know if there are any consequences to them boycotting this audit response process while they're allowed to continue their operations in this area. So yeah, there are a lot of human rights issues in these economic districts, and a lot of economic issues that further embed human rights issues in our city. Are there any questions? It was a lot. I feel like I tried to go over a huge lot. Yes.
I apologize if you said this. I missed it.
No, thanks.
In the ESD, you mentioned that if you have to have a building, you have to pay a fee and you live on it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that maybe they're not providing. What services are they supposed to be providing?
They're supposed to be providing cleaning, security. Yeah, so these are cleaning, security, extra marketing, business support, stuff like that. Yeah, getting pros out.
That's the worst